She just said, "I observe everything." She's like, "I observe. I'm going to be safe tonight."
I think I actually think that assuming Mike still had it and she actually got it, that's actually the right move. Is steal it and then don't play it.
Why is the jury laughing?
0 chance of winning the game.
Supposed to talk glamour to you.
My grandmother's sitting home watching Jerry Springer.
Lee, is there any way I could have your jacket?
Is it my island?
Welcome back to Survivor Breakfast, boys. We have got a meaty, juicy ep to be talking about. We finally get some fireworks, some strats, some plays. We lost Drea, Kale's favorite player, in an absolute firework, incredible play. I mean, an absolute thing. Kale, you're shaking your head. I got to throw it to you first. Drea's your favorite player. Where's your head at right now?
Oh no!
Bring me back to the days of Ika.
Wow.
Bring me back to the days of Ika.
Your wistful. Oh my God.
Give me the days.
No. We don't need to sit vigil for Drea right now.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Drea went out also with, like, we said last week, Hai went out with a great
Top
attitude.
3 player all time.
Top 3 player all time. Oh my God, Kale.
Stop.
I'm kidding. But brutal. This is a brutal episode for me. She was my favorite player on the season. I actually got a lot to talk about in terms of her gameplay tonight. We got insights from not only her, from other players about a lot of people's different games in terms of how we finally got into the view and the lens of how people are going to start viewing each other at the end of the game. Mm-hmm. And one fucking fatal mistake and fucking can fuck you in this game.
I'd like to say
it any other way.
It's episodes like this that make me love Survivor, and it's the conversation that we're about to have that makes me so happy that we have a podcast. I'm so happy to get to see Kale right now. Usually we do it over the phone, but now I get to see his face. I get to see how he feels, and we're gonna have a conversation. We're really gonna get through this all together.
Toes is feeding off of the anguish. Absolutely feeding off the anguish. Well, Drea went out tonight in a crazy play. We got a repeat of season 41 where she plays her knowledge is power advantage, and she misses because Omar warned Mike, took the idol from him, and Mike got to look her in the eyes and say, "No, Drea, I do not." And because she used her idol previously, she had all these advantages. She doesn't have it this week, and unfortunately, we lost her.
All right, let's dissect this from the jump. Why do you tell anybody when you have been so but I get it, and I already foresee what you guys are gonna say is that Omar has been so good.
Oh, but I mean, yeah.
But hold on, before you speak,
sure.
I just want to say you have been so good for so long about hiding everything. The amulet has not been shown by anybody. You hadn't seen this shown by anybody. Honestly, everybody on this season's been pretty good with hiding everything that they could, other than the fucking Beware idols in the beginning. How do you do this?
Okay, I'll answer it. This is Drea. This is what we've said. We've said it from the beginning. This is Drea. This is her downfall. She's so comfortable that she says what she's thinking. And it sucks in this scenario because I don't want to give her grief because it was so small. It was such a small mistake, and it compounded into her life in the game. I mean,
Disaster.
it sucks. But the second she got comfortable, she's been making so many good moves and staying under the radar. Kale, I give you credit. I give you credit every week. She's making good decisions, really good decisions, and she just lets one thing slip, and that's it. That's all it takes. Well, you said it to the worst person, Drea. To the worst
but that's
person.
The problem. Nobody knows that Omar is actually the worst person.
Well,
everybody thinks that Omar is the best person to talk to.
Now they do.
But I don't even know that it's
they do. She blew him up. Rightfully so.
She did blow him up. But like Mike knew that. But now everybody else thinks that. Regardless, like Mike thinks that he was just trying to save him. But what I have to say is, could she have done this without telling somebody about it?
Why not?
Because she needed people to vote for Mike, right? So she needs to get people to make sure, like, if I do this thing, are you guys going to vote for Mike?
I think that's the reason where she had to give some credit or credibility to why she was even proposing the Mike plan or the flip to Mike. You know, Omar at least portrayed that he views Mike as a threat and he wants to get him out. So he played her ultimately.
But she did not need to say that.
No.
What happens if she doesn't say anything though?
Because if you think about it truly, ideally, right? Lindsay goes home. None of this happens, right? Okay,
from Dre's
we're past
perspective,
that.
sure, yeah,
for sure, yeah. So the reason why you don't need to say it to Mike to Omar is because either way, you'll take his idol. Like for you, this vote right now is inconsequential compared to the votes that will come, right? Mm-hmm. So she's playing. There's in her mind. There's obviously just like everybody's. There's two different paths, and once the first path is gone, now there's all of these different possibilities, right? The first path is Lindsay picks wrong and goes home, right? Second path is all of the other options that happen right afterwards. So she doesn't really need to worry about getting Mike out this vote. She just needs to worry about getting his idol. She doesn't need to set up
but here's the thing. At that point in the episode,
at that point you have to play the idol
she's
too.
starting to get she's already starting to get an idea in her head that they're gonna come for her. She was already getting nervous. She had that moment at the fire where she like looks over and Omar's praying, and then Mike goes, "Yo, let's go."
Yeah.
And she goes, "Aren't you
No, I
praying?"
know.
Like she had an idea, which is huge props to her that she could pick that out at all.
This all season. She's been doing this all season.
But the monologue was really good when she was like, when people go to the water well to get water and they come back and their canteens are empty, I observe. But I mean, she basically wrote a poem.
But that's
she wrote
exactly
a poem
what I'm
called
saying,
I
Toast.
Observe at Tribal. It was a one-hit wonder.
I might write her a
good.
poem. Potentially.
Okay, you observe.
But
That's
Toast,
what
this
yours
is what I'm
gonna be.
saying. This is what I'm saying. Is she has to tell somebody so that she can see, can I actually convince people to go on Mike? Otherwise, I just have to take it and then play it this ep.
Yeah.
And
But
then I'm going home next week anyways.
She doesn't have to. So I to an extent, I get what you're saying, but she could just say, "Oh, let's just go with the easy vote and vote out Romeo. He's right here. That way, we don't have to scramble. If Lindsay survives, we just vote Romeo. We don't even have to talk."
But that's the
And
thing.
then
She
in between-
knew, but nobody wants to go with the easy vote right now. Everybody wants to get out the competitors. She knows
So
that.
okay, she's not stupid.
no.
So at a very
Hold on.
wait, one second.
Sim is right.
At a very baseline level, the outcome that is the worst of getting the idol still saves her tonight.
But then
Yes.
you know you're going home the next week.
Yes, exactly.
I don't think you know you're going home the next
No,
week. At
no,
least
If you steal an idol, play it, and then next
Yes.
week you're going home.
Well,
there's only so many more votes. Like
hold on. That's what I said last week. The idol steal and playing it was a massive move. I said that verbatim. This is what I said.
Of course.
So if she does not win immunity next week, there's absolutely no reason why she wouldn't go home. And on top of that, Lindsay's going to rally the troops and finally switch off of her Jonathan straight dead on radar, which she got into on tonight. So now that she has a full idol, she also will then have the full idol at 5, which I still think was playable at 5.
There's a lot of passive winners in this episode. There's a lot of passive people
of
who
course.
have gained a lot.
But to boil it
Yeah.
down to what Sim is saying, yes, Sim, I completely agree with you.
Yeah,
I completely agree with you.
I think she has to say something in order to have a chance.
In order to have a chance beyond this week.
Yes,
I get that
because she's already a threat. She knows she's already a threat. So she does this. That's one more thing on her resume now.
The only other thing, Sim,
threat level's gone up.
I'll throw out the other thing. She steals it, plays it. Everybody votes for her. She votes for Lindsay. Lindsay goes home. She has another one in her
She has
pocket.
another
Well, she
idol.
can't-
Wow.
well, she can't-
Kale,
she can't-
thank you for that.
No,
That's
she
a
can't. She can't
beautiful-
vote for Lindsay.
Oh no, yeah, she's
Lindsay's
immune.
safe.
Oh fuck! Yeah,
Lindsay's
never
safe.
mind.
Now,
Wow.
what she
You tricked me.
what
You
she
had
could
me.
do,
Yeah.
What she could have done.
You had
I
me.
forgot.
what she could have done, which really risky, is steal it, threaten to play it, everyone goes vote, and then she doesn't play it. Mm-hmm. That works. Right?
I think so too. Well, I think
that's
that
a play.
it's so
That is a play.
that people probably assume that she is stealing it to play it.
100%.
She could say
Especially because
out
everybody
loud,
else knows the plan is her.
she just
when
said,
she
"I
does
observe
that,
everything." She's like, "I observe. I'm going to be safe tonight."
I actually think that assuming Mike still had it and she actually got it, that's actually the right move: is steal it and then don't play it.
And it requires not saying anything to anyone. It does not
my
require.
My heart dropped immediately
Oh my
when
God.
I saw it. Honestly, when it came out of her mouth, my heart dropped because Mike, everybody knew she had it dead pinned. Like last season, we talked about the differences that it got out before Liana could have any chance to hold on to it, and Liana actually wanted to hold on to it for as long as possible. But fuck,
I think the way that the knowledge is power is played this time was so awesome because it controlled so many of the variables that were up in the air last time. Last time it was already, which we've touched on, it was already going to come out because someone else at Shipwheel knows that you have an advantage. So there's automatically some inkling that an advantage is in the game. Then every single person on the beach knows about the knowledge is power, and you're like, okay, yeah, at that point, like, it's not powerful. This time, everything was in Drea's favor to keep this as secret as possible. She tells one person, and this actually truly illustrates the irony of the knowledge is power, right? Because the second that you give out the knowledge about the knowledge is power, it loses its power. It's so beautiful.
I feel like it's great because it like convinces you that it's like, oh, I'm the one with the knowledge is power, and so like
everyone else
I think it
power.
lets everybody's it's
cool.
walls down of like, oh, I can tell people that.
Yeah, it's
But
cool.
you cannot. I really like the knowledge is power. I think it's a great advantage. Now I know we talked about we can't have it in a season with the beware.
But
the other Beware stuff.
Still, somehow, it was able to get thwarted.
Crazy that the same thing happened two seasons in a row.
One fatal error.
I know.
Yeah, and it was almost Lindsay who made the fatal error competing.
Dude, I mean, it's crazy.
What do you guys think about Lindsay playing in this challenge today? We have the do or die challenge. We had the hold on to the bar, the classic, one that we've seen in seasons past. Do you want to dissect how he presents it? Because I, to be quite honest with you, was shocked by the amount of people that sat out in the challenge.
Yeah,
I think everybody just knows that like they're not great challenge people.
Well, I hate that if that's the case.
Well,
which is probably true, though.
So the only people that I was questioning their motivations, I knew Mike wasn't going to compete. He's, like we said, fallen first every single time. Omer is not going to compete either. It's not his strong suit, and he knows himself. He's super self-aware. Like, this is like the very baseline of his awareness.
I would say same with Romeo.
Romeo as well. And Romeo also has the added benefit of knowing that he at least has the chance that the person who does fall off will get sent home immediately, right?
Yeah.
So he almost has this added benefit of being like, I don't want to put myself in that position, and I think there's a high chance that I will survive just passively, right?
Yeah.
I thought in my head that Lindsay would compete. I did also I neglected to think of why she would compete, but she explained. I mean, we got a montage, which was a little bit scary in the middle of the episode because I'm like, damn, they are just totally telling us what's going to happen here. And then I'm so thankful that they fooled me. I've been fooled.
Yeah.
I was fooled. But Lindsay's motivation to compete, I think she immediately realizes that she made the wrong decision, and she owns that. I thought that Drea would compete. Earlier in the episode, she said, I am a competitor.
She's got so many advantages.
She has so much. I know.
The biggest piece was that
Jeff
she knew Lindsay was going to compete from what Lindsay's sentiment was going into it, and the biggest benefit here was that if Lindsay went home with any dirt on her hand, she got a free idol. So the less people competing up there
the
for
more
Lindsay to get off
one
first,
of the two of them,
the better
you
it
don't
is.
have to backstab Lindsay in the process.
Exactly.
You have your cake, eat it too. I do think that Drea was ahead of the ball game there. She was like which is like another kudos to Drea. I mean, honestly, it's like she did not have to compete, and she didn't. She didn't.
I think too. I know Lindsay says that she competed because of that competitiveness, and I think that was a huge portion of it. I think a huge mistake by her too is I think in her head either Marianne or Romeo were going to compete because they had all those chats in the morning, like off on the beach, but they did at some point before that challenge talk to somebody had talked to Romeo and Marianne of like, oh, we actually want to get like Drea out or Jonathan. I forget exactly who they said, but somebody had a conversation with them. So like they had also another idea of like, oh, people are trying to go after worse competitors than us too. So they were not going to compete.
Romeo's lost.
No, I
Romeo's
know.
lost.
But you know, if he knew absolutely for certain I'm going home, you know, that's a potential
That's a different story.
thing that he could have done. But they both had an inkling of like, oh, people are going after better competitors than us.
Yeah, and Marianne has stepped off of a challenge knowing that she was in hot water. So even now, maybe not having that same amount of pressure on her only makes, you know, that decision make more sense.
But that's exactly what I'm trying to say is that Lindsay should have recognized that.
She didn't have to compete.
And then just leave Jonathan as the only competitor and you're Otto in the do or die.
All right, a few points here. A few points here. Do or Die could have ruined a really great episode. So do or die,
100%.
Bad,
Do or
terrible
die
thing.
has to die.
Almost ruined my favorite week this season.
Okay,
so close to ruining it.
Let me lay that out, and you guys will be happy with me. I'll pose something that's a little bit different. They cannot have a challenge that's orchestrated like this. You really, what you guys just boiled down into all the reasonings why people didn't compete is that they're all terrible at that. And they all, no, honestly, they like, there is no reason why Romeo should not have been competing other than him really just saying, I have no chance in this.
I hope the person goes home. Yeah.
Well,
I hope the person loses the do or die.
Yeah, exactly, because he's on the bottom. Yes, there was some rumblings and whatnot, but this has got to be, I don't know how you orchestrate it with like the first person out, but this has got to be a puzzle where it's way more, you know, a little bit better of an even playing field.
I'm now remembering last season, wasn't it the like the balls going through the thing and you had to add a ball every time?
It was you had to hold the pieces of that long stick,
which is still a forearm-based balance question.
Yeah, for sure.
I think
you got
to do the same.
I think you got to do
test.
something more like puzzly or like somewhere more in between. This was too challengey, which is why I think we saw everybody sit out. Is I think what you're saying, Kat.
But you could also have it have multiple phases. Like you could have a challenge where there's a puzzle component, there's a swimming component, there's a get through the obstacle course component.
I miss some of that. Every challenge has been one item basically. Where's like the challenges of mazes and getting puzzle pieces and putting it together?
I think that'll come soon. Usually like towards the end of the season when there's less people competing.
But they haven't had even that at once during these individuals.
But if you had a component of each of those things where like there's a water component, Jonathan's like, of course I'm doing it. Jonathan was doing it either way. But there's a puzzle component. Omer's like, like maybe I could do that.
He still stunk at puzzles.
No, okay, I'm just saying like things where every like aspects of the challenge where every individual can be like, I could pick up time there, you know, and it's kind of like almost like a tantalizing thing. You're like, oh, this is where I'm gonna get my immunity. Like I'm building a resume if I compete. And things start like lining up where more people want to compete, I think would make it more interesting.
It is interesting that both last season and this season, the challenge that they used for the do or die is one where somebody like drops out first. Instead of the challenges that we see a lot of like who finishes first or finishes last.
You're right.
Maybe if you had something more
there is no finisher
lasty.
last. There is no finisher last.
Well, finish last is the winner. But that's what I mean too. Is like why not do something where it's whoever finishes last does the do or die, so that there's more suspense throughout the challenge.
Yeah,
because if there were more people competing,
like a puzzle that just continues on.
Yeah, because the way it is now, if there were 4 people competing and the first person drops in 5 minutes, now you've got another hour-long challenge.
Yeah.
Where you already know who's going to do or die, so it's like,
yeah, that adds a little more validity to the do or die, specifically in this season where you had Mike, Omar, and Romeo, and most likely Marianne had no chance up there versus those other 3. Yeah. So they said we don't have a chance of winning. Why are we even going up? Because we are way more vulnerable to drop off first.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I have a question for you guys here with the do or die, because personally, I don't like it because it's threatening these great strategy episodes.
Oh, it's horrible.
I mean? Like, it's horrible. But I do like the idea of challenges where you're like deciding whether to like I do like that aspect of it of like do I
then
risk myself?
Lose your vote then.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think lose your vote's probably better. Something like that, because I like that aspect of the do or die. I just don't like the do or die itself. Also, somebody, one of our buddies texted in our group chat, losing all faith in the Monty Hall problem.
Oh my God!
Both seasons, nobody switches, and they keep getting it right.
I'm at a detriment for understanding that dilemma because I would have been wrong both times.
You would have lost both seasons.
Well, did you see the juxtaposition, Roxroy versus High?
Oh, I loved that.
Yeah, Roxroy's like,
stay.
High's
I'm like
you
that.
Gotta change.
They're playing themselves
Roxroy.
perfectly. Yeah, just keep going, guys.
Classic Roxroy, but vindicated in the end.
Hey, you gotta like the casting. You know what I mean?
Can I say a couple points on this? I know the do or die. We're still on it. So
yeah.
The first point is that I truly believe that production almost thwarted like very good gameplay tonight if the do or die played out. Like it's almost like they were trying so hard to stop interesting social dynamics. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like despite that, they were able to survive get that out of the players. You know.
Let me add on to that because what you're talking about is basically production got lucky, right? Production got lucky today. They got lucky in the early season when they had the 2-2 no vote 2 back at Vati.
Yeah,
and it's a lot of the juxtaposition to last season when they got really unlucky and a lot of the shit just fucking didn't prove to be beneficial at all. But continue.
For sure. No, it's okay. Yeah, everything you're saying makes sense. I think that they were working against their own best interest in this scenario. Although it was a really cool moment when Lindsay survived because the entire, like I said, with the montage and everything, the entire time I'm like, it just is Lindsay, like, And I know Simi, like, there was a lot of talk on the beach in between where it made you think, like, hey, like, this isn't going to be a simple one and done scenario. Like, there's too many things at play.
Yeah, I mean, let's be clear. Going into Tribal, I thought 100% Lindsay was staying.
I thought she was gone.
I thought she was gone.
I see. I thought they showed too much of the strategy.
But that
on
was
the beach.
The point. That was the point to keep you going. But
because if they showed that much strategy and then she went home,
everybody
would have
I
been
fall
upset.
victim to looking at the clock. My problem is I fall victim to looking at the clock.
I'm like,
yeah, you can't look at the clock. You can't be looking at the clock.
8:49. We're about to reveal. I'm like, holy shit. Okay, wait. So I keep trying to it's in my head. I want to get it out. I'm sorry. So. An interesting thing is season 39, Island of the Idols, I think is a horrible season. I think most people would agree. They did something kind of interesting that sort of encompasses, or it has the same general feel as the Do or Die, where one of the things that the Idols, the Island of the Idols, Rob and Sandra gave to, I think it was Lauren. Gave her an advantage where if she could pick two people that were likely to win the next challenge, right? So she was given information that there would be a reward, or there would be an option to eat food or compete in the challenge, right? So she picked two people that she knew would not want to eat, right? And then the entire day leading up to the challenge, having the information, knowing that she would get an idol if one of those two people won, she kept talking about this food, getting it in everybody's head that, oh my God, I'm so hungry, I want breakfast. I think it was pancakes or something like that. And what do you know? Like 3 people ended up competing in the challenge, and 2 of the 3 were people that she predicted would win the challenge. So she got an idol gifted from that decision. So that incorporates having people make a decision as to whether or not they want to play, giving a player an advantage for
instead of a
orchestrating
disadvantage.
maneuvers. Exactly, and it completely revolves around social dynamics. It doesn't revolve around random chance. It
incorporates
around
the strategy. Because she can do stuff to encourage and things like that.
I thought it was so cool watching it. I'm like, this is sick because they had this weapon of the knowledge that there was going to be this thing that would cause people to maybe sit out. Let's just hammer it home. Like, I can't stop thinking about pancakes. Now everyone wants pancakes. Oh, here's the pancakes. You know what I mean? Like, so that's like a way to get some of the aspects of the do or die while focusing on player motivations and social dynamics as opposed to random chance.
I would happily bring that back. I mean, that sounds,
you know what I mean?
Like a way better scenario than what we have here.
Yeah, because it involves the players making decisions.
Yeah,
this sort of takes away that, in a way. I don't know.
When you boiled it down, Survivor got lucky tonight and could have ruined the season-defining moment, basically. Tonight was a season-defining moment that
and we wouldn't even know it.
Was literally 33%.
Yeah.
No, 66% chance that it wasn't going to happen. because
Yeah.
she didn't switch.
She didn't switch.
know, though, as soon as production started seeing people talk on the beach with all these plans, they were like, "What have we done with this
what
do
have we
or
done?
die?" They had to have been so. Like,
I hope so.
I'm so excited about this episode. I'm so happy we're talking about it.
They like
It's
this
just so
stuff too.
cool.
I think
right.
where I kind of sit on this stuff is I think do or die is kind of a loser for me. I think the beware saying stuff out loud is a loser for me. I think knowledge is power is a winner for me. I think beware where you got to stick your hand down a bloody tube is a winner
I love
for
that.
me.
Pete. I love
so-
that one. Yep.
I am kind of sitting at the place where I like some of the stuff they're introducing and I don't like some of it. And I hope that they can come to the conclusion that
it was
that I
way
prefer.
way better orchestrated this season than it was last season.
I think last season they got so unlucky though.
We'll
Like, how
recap
could they have
it at
known?
the end of the season what they should keep, what they shouldn't.
I like that
But
idea.
for sure.
Let's
When we have a full
let's
picture.
let the launching off point be this question. This vote tonight, who gets to lay claim more on their resume tonight's vote? Mike or Omar?
I think it's Omar.
Well, I don't want to sound
You
like
mean
I'm
to the cast
disagreeing with you.
members?
What?
To the cast members, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is this resume defining?
It sounds like Toast disagrees, so I'm happy to hear your side on this, Toast.
I'm not necessarily disagreeing because I think, Kale, the point that you're putting forward is like Mike was the one who said, let's get rid of Drea. Mike is the one who said, we had that whole conversation on the beach. We want to keep the competitors in the game. And he pulls over to Omar and says, I was just saying that as a ruse, you know?
This was the beginning. This was the beginning of the end for me because I didn't even see this coming, to be honest with you. Because I did there wasn't real much talk about this before, and I totally agree with you. Mike was the fire starter on this.
Here's
one.
the thing, though. Without Omar, it's impossible. Mike gets his idol stolen, and
100%.
and it doesn't work.
That's why I'm not fully disagreeing with you.
You get to the
but I
final
do
three.
think-
If Omar and Mike are there, Omar just has to say to the jury, look, I was the one who played my social game good enough that Drea trusted me enough to tell her about this advantage. And I was the one who had the forethought to not just go along with it, but to have a play to get her out.
I don't think they're going to be
be
sitting next to each other. I keep saying that. I really don't think they're going to be sitting next to each other.
You better hope that they do, because if they don't, that's going to be a letdown. So hold on a second.
For you, I got to hope that for you.
No. You think if
I think we
you
should all
think
hope.
that
We want an
anybody can
exciting
beat
end.
either one of them?
No.
Exactly. So that's why you don't want that to be the case. That's what I'm saying.
I guess.
So hold on a second. Sim, Drea said tonight, regardless of what you just said about Omar making his case at Final Tribal, she's not gonna be voting for Omar.
Yeah. She said
She's not gonna be voting for Omar. She's voting for Mike.
Now, okay, that could very well be true, but something that I think we should start talking about. I might have mentioned pre-ep. I think the road for Mike just got a lot harder.
Oh my God,
No,
what
no.
are you talking about?
No.
Mike was dead in the water to an idle steal, and without any active movement on his part, was able to completely dodge it, get one step further, and keep his idol safe.
Okay, but we already know.
How is the road more difficult than it was?
Well, people already wanted to vote him out potentially.
Drea and Romeo. Romeo was lost in the clouds. Romeo could
And
have won.
Omar wants him. And Omar wants him
Romeo.
out. Omar wants him out. Yeah, Romeo. We didn't even see him.
You don't have to say it again. Yeah,
I
He
don't
didn't
wanna
even
talk
talk at
about
tribal.
Romeo.
No. Omar very clearly wants Mike out of the game.
Yes,
no, Omar wants Mike out of the game.
And I
Yes, I agree with that.
believe 110% that Omar can convince Lindsay that she wants Mike out of the game.
No, but here's the piece of the puzzle tonight. Lindsay was the one that stood up for Mike. If you heard the one
Yes.
conversation that they had, she said
Mike stood up for
is
Lindsay.
more. Yeah, yes.
That was a very nice
100%.
speech that Mike made
It
about
was.
Lindsay.
Yeah, sorry.
Listen, it's just my head's kind of exploding right now because there's a factor where I don't even know where Jonathan stands tonight. I don't know if he has a true ally. I don't also think that Marianne has a true ally because Romeo just goes off and Romeo's clearly just playing for himself right now. And listen,
Yeah.
that's probably going to get him to the end of the game at this point.
Yeah.
But he never had a resume to begin with.
Yeah.
Marianne seems to be on an island too. She's going to have the idol, so a lot of the crux of what's going to happen here is going to be Lindsay's now idol and Marianne's idol, right?
And Mike has an idol.
No,
if Omar gives it back.
Yeah.
Which is something we need to talk about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Do you want to do it now? I mean, I think that whole interaction is so interesting that it deserves its own little segment. Can we just finish talking?
Yeah.
Sorry. No, I just want to say who gets the credit, right? I don't think it's a clean cut thing.
No.
I don't think that Mike gets. I think that Omar deserves much more credit than Mike. Let me say that. I'll say that out loud. I do think that Mike had more agency in this than I think Simi you might be giving him.
Sure.
But he wins pretty passively here. And I don't know how this is a point that you just hit on, but we haven't heard your response to it. How is Mike's journey to the end harder than it was last week? Having the one person in the game that could take his idol away from him.
Harder than last week. Last week was it hard for him?
Well, no, you're saying Mike's road to the end is much harder, is the way you said it.
Well, he just continues his threat level just continues to rise.
But his main enemy in this instance was Drea taking the only known idol, which was his. And he completely evaded that without doing anything.
I would argue
he didn't do any of it.
His main, but that's exactly like that. Like
that's somewhat of his point, Toast, is that he didn't do anything and he got lucked into it. It's not something that he can tout on his resume.
So, but that's then we have to say that. Okay, you're saying two different things because how could he not?
I have 2 points.
Okay, how could he not tout it on his resume and also build threat level from it? You know what I mean? Like but I don't want to interject before you answer, but also then you have to say the same thing about Lindsay, who was also a very passive winner this episode, who was able to get immunity from 2 bad decisions. 1 to compete and 2 not to switch.
Just because
and
one
now
person...
she has an idol.
Just because...
Lindsay from the edit, too, posed the...
She has an idol that nobody knows about.
What?
Just a Toast point. She has an idol that nobody knows about.
Sure, but she still had...
No. But
right.
Lindsay was the one who posed the idea to Omar to say, why don't we flip this and turn this to Mike? At least from the edit, that was what was told.
That actually was... I kind of forgot about that. That was actually her idea. I think Lindsay actually has the most claim to this now.
Yeah, but my question was stemmed from Drea herself getting out, and to me, my answer was that I do think Mike gets to lay claim to this, and honestly, the notch that I've been saying he has not had for the entirety of this game, but he got a big one tonight.
Here's my thing though. Who do you think is
the
more
water
likely?
Is warm, Kale. The water is fine.
I don't ever want to be joining you in any bath. So
come on,
it's too late. You're in the waters. Dip a toe in there, Kale.
Dip a toe.
No. This is what I'm saying though. Kale. To that point, who do you think is? I don't know. From my side, it seems like it's much more likely that Omar is going to be able to convince people that is on his resume than Mike will be to be able to convince it on his resume.
We keep running the scenario where they're sitting next to each other, and that's not necessarily true.
Then why even have this question?
No, yeah,
because if it's only one of them, only one of them will claim it.
I want to talk a little bit.
Because we all agree that I think Omar wins the game if he's sitting next to anybody.
I disagree.
Okay, so then there's controversy.
You think Mike beats Omar?
Tonight was if that's true, that this was a big notch on his belt. Again, we've been talking about Omar, and we had this whole conversation last week. We've been talking about the fact that Omar is playing himself into a manner where he's perceived to be on the bottom, so he's like a trustworthy guy. People can share secrets with him. He wasn't playing at a high level where it was known that he was touting every move that he did. This was sneakiness, and again, there was a lot of villainous moments from him tonight. Some of the confessionals were a little bit on the mean, edgier side tonight too. Again, so yeah. I don't know necessarily. Like you said last week,
the meanness.
No, because it's fun, 100%. But he could not be maybe coming off in the nicest of fashion to everybody, to be honest with you. Mike, it could be truly the more lovable guy for people.
He is. You saw him at Tribal consoling Lindsay for the mistake that she clearly made and said, "This is who you are."
Clearly, he's the more lovable guy between the two. I think that's.
But I don't think it's by that big of a margin.
No, see, Sim, I don't think it is.
I don't think people. No, there is nobody on this island who is like, oh, I don't really like Omar. Everybody likes Omar. Nobody,
I don't know
who's negative on. At least from what we've seen, the evidence we have suggests that Omar is liked by everybody. He's being told secrets by everybody. We know that continually.
Those are different things. Those are different things.
Agreed.
Which is what I was trying to get at.
I think that Omar, this is not this. Okay, this is sure. If we assume that this is a notch on Mike's belt here,
which I'm not considering necessarily.
Which I'm not saying is I definitely don't think that it is that is a locked thing on his resume. It could go to other people. Omar, I think, has the skills. I believe that he has the skills to articulate these other plays that he's been making throughout the season.
I don't disagree with you, but the point that I think Kayla and I are both trying to make is something that I said last week when we were talking about, in the meta corner, talking about how they said that Mike was an intelligent social player and an intelligent strategic player, and that Omar is the social player. I was saying that they both go about their social game in different ways. Mike is making like real, genuine connections with people. I'm not saying that Omar isn't. I'm just saying that the connections that were being shown are the ones that facilitate his strategy in the game. That's what makes people come to him to form a plan. That's what makes Romeo comfortable with him because he's infiltrated that group. Mike is saying in the middle of Tribal to Lindsay, like, even though we probably all think you made a mistake and agree with you thinking that you made a mistake yourself, you are a competitor. That is who you are. And like, that is his social game. Lindsay feels something with that.
I guess. Yeah. What I'm saying though is right now, it feels like to me that the group as a whole views Mike as more of a threat than Omar.
Okay, that's a different point.
Would you agree? Would you agree or disagree with that?
We're off track, but
hold on a second. Hold on a second. This boils down to a couple different factors. Drea tonight said, Mike, you will win the game if you're there at final, no matter who's next to you.
The kiss of death.
The kiss of death. And Toast said this last week. Sim, the best Survivor player doesn't necessarily always win. I would go as far to say that you have to be loose with the term Survivor, because I do think that Russell was good at certain facets of Survivor, but playing the jury is also a big piece of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
there is an element to what's going on here that I think that Omar might not be playing the jury correctly, and that's why I think that Mike has a better chance in the end.
I think it depends.
I'm most upset right now tonight. One, because Drea, my favorite, went home.
And now we're talking about two dogs. That's what you're talking about. Now we're focusing on two people.
We're focusing on two people, and I'm almost dead certain that Mike wins this game.
Okay,
I'm still on Omar. Okay.
Here we are. Kale, I have to hop in your pool. The water is warm over there. You're the pool owner now.
I think it depends, though. Let's be clear, though. It depends on how this
I'm not happy about this sentiment. I don't want to spread the good word of Toast.
Is going to end up voting. Are they going to vote on who makes me feel the most warm and fuzzy on the inside, or who they think actually like played a more technical game?
Yeah, I mean, even the way you phrase that makes me think which one you would pick. But I'm saying that
I know which one I would vote.
I get it,
but let's look at the jury. Let's see. How do we think that they're going to vote? Right.
I don't. So there's nuances. Kale, like Russell, is an extreme example of how to piss off a jury 101. I don't think that Omar is doing anything malicious on the way out.
I don't think
he's not
pissed off
kicking them out the
anybody.
door. No, he's not. And he's villainous to the screen, to the viewers.
He lost the vote tonight, Sim. You have to admit that.
He may have.
He lost the vote tonight.
Drea is not going to vote. Drea is not voting for Omar.
Okay, I'm not entirely convinced though. She didn't say that to try to put a target on Mike. Though.
Yeah,
I don't like. I'm not entirely convinced that
it's been done.
She said that because she was going to vote for him. I think she could have been saying that to be like, oh, she didn't know who came up with the plan. Like, put a target on this guy's back on my way out.
One of the biggest pieces in this game is jury management, and you cannot. Yes, it was a great game move on Omar's part tonight, but it's 100% a snake move what he did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we know that.
How about
and there was
Simi,
another way he
he
could have played this completely differently too. Yeah, Mike maybe would have been pissed at him ultimately, but Mike probably wouldn't have known where to deflect this, and Mike probably was going to be more pissed at Drea if it went the other way. So Omar, to me, this may not have been his best decision.
Here's my thing, though. I don't think Drea is the person.
I think it was
who is voting. Yeah, I think if you did the other way, I think it's a bad move. But let me finish my point here.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, sorry. No, I was just saying I will, but you go. You keep going.
Let the man speak.
Sorry, Sim.
Well, now I can't even remember what I was going to say.
Do you want to come in our pool? We have a
No,
pool
I
now.
don't.
I'm not in this pool.
Kale, what I was about to say though is to me, it doesn't seem like Drea is a heart vote. Drea feels like a brain voter to me. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But I think Drea is going to vote for the person she think is technically the best player.
Yeah, but you're
I think the heart voters out there are like Roxroy, potentially sneaky high, but maybe not. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, but Mike isn't just like some affable,
Yeah, that's my
dawdler in the
point
game.
tonight, Sim. Is
No,
that
he has agency too. So
if he can lay claim to this vote tonight, which I do think he very much can, that's a big deal.
I think this is an interesting question to pose.
I don't know that he
relates
can at all.
Okay. It relates to the two of them. Like, would you rather have the most alliances in the game and break some of those in the game and not be viewed favorably outside the game from the jury, or have some enemies in the game but have every single person like you as a person? That's really the question. Because there are people against Mike. Right now, there are no people against Omer. I totally agree. But people still like Mike. Once they're on the jury and they're away from the game, they're not going to remember how Omer was nice to them when they told a secret. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to remember, I think at least.
But I don't think anybody on the jury really hates either one of them.
I don't think so at all. I'm just saying that Mike is not, it's not black and white like Mike is only going to get votes because he's liked, because he has done things in the game too, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So it's not like he's just like, he's not Fabio. He's not like happy-go-lucky, ooh, I made it to the end and I'm better than the other two, so give it to me. He like has had agency in the game and has done things. But he also
I don't think it was really clear until tonight, Toast. So
Yeah.
I am on that. I was on that side of the pool.
I guess what I'm saying
I
too
don't
is
want to
I
be in
don't
this
think
fucking
this
pool.
I don't think
Fuck
this
pool.
alone I don't think this alone can win you the game on your resume. Just this by itself, with how much Omar
I don't think-
can
no one's
potentially lay
arguing
claim to.
Yeah, no one's arguing that though. At least I'm not. I'm not saying that this is Mike's one piece.
I guess
right,
I'm saying like there's people on the jury who potentially don't like Mike too.
For sure.
Let-
It's not
let-
like
Mike
likes
can
me.
be very
I
upset
love,
with Mike.
I love Omer. I would be happy
I know,
if Omer
I know.
won.
No,
Hold
I
on,
know.
hold
We're
on.
just trying to.
Hold on.
Yeah, for sure, for
Omar,
sure.
Mike, Romeo are sitting there right now, and how many votes does that mean that there is?
9.
Do some fucking quick math. 9
9.
votes. What's the split?
It might not be 9. It might be 8, right?
What?
No,
how many
there's
votes
5
were
on
tonight?
8. There's 8. I'm
Eight,
sorry. There's
8,
3.
8.
The 3 people left to be voted out, and 5 on the jury. So 8 votes. How is that split? Omar, Mike, Romeo right now.
Romeo 0.
Yeah.
Goose egg.
And Romeo being in the end in the final tribal is more props to Omer, because Romeo is Omer's GOAT at this point. If anyone's laying claim to Romeo as a GOAT, it's Omer, because Omer, since the merge, has been the only
Yeah, it's been
person
dragging him along.
hurting him with a D, HERD, hurting.
Yeah.
But so that actually adds to Omer's resume. Maybe if you were sitting next to a Lindsay, it might be a little bit better actually for Mike, but I don't know.
Well, let's see. If it is those 3, let's go through the jury one by one.
Solid I'm pretty rock solid that Romeo's going to be in the final 3 right now, to be honest with you.
That would be bad. I think Lindsay now has a really good chance of being in the final 3.
All right. Either way, maybe true because she has an idol now. But give me your votes.
Yeah, let's go through them one by one.
It's too early.
Roxroy, who is he voting for?
We're just picking between Mike and Omer right now?
Basically.
Okay.
Roxroy,
Is voting for Omer.
Omar.
Mike backstabbed him. There was the All
Okay.
Boys Alliance.
All right,
and
fine. So
High,
1-0.
high. I also think goes Omar.
I might disagree there.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't
Mike's
think High's
de-
upset with Mike?
I mean, Omer is the one that we talked about how they both lay claim. I guess my argument here is that this is an exercise in futility as of right now.
too early,
I think
too early.
I also think Drea might have some sway when she gets to the jury right now. Because Kale, if you're saying that everybody respects Drea, which I don't disagree with necessarily, her word is going to carry some weight. There's always going to be one juror that's going to be like, and last year it was Ricard, right? Last
Yeah,
season,
listen,
who was
that's
like,
that's my theory on how
this is who you should be voting for. Everyone's
Yes.
like, Ricard's like, listen, Erica, like, I've told them about your game. I think you deserve to win. This is your opportunity to corroborate my story. Like say it how, and that was enough to sway, all of those votes to go to Erica. I mean, it was 7-1-0. Like, so I think it's a little too early. I don't mean to squash that concept. I just don't know if it necessarily will play out that way.
No, and I understand that. The reason why I tried to pose the exercise is that I'm a true believer that Mike versus Omar, one, is the only interesting end result of this game right now. Okay. And two, I think is a lot closer than
it is a lot closer than we thought.
That you guys are thinking.
No, I think this is.
I think it's close.
I think it's very
close.
I think it's very close.
I still think Omar has the edge as of right now. I've said that from pretty early on, but I guess this whole thing started, this whole, it's not really a tangent, and it is what we like talking about. This is what we were trying to talk about. But I don't think that Mike's path to the end is harder somehow now, because he got one step closer to the end. He avoided the one obstacle in his way that he didn't even know was in his way.
Beat Sims' point into the ground.
I don't
Beat
mean
it
to,
into the ground.
Okay, but fine.
I don't want to hang on that word, but
fine. I think I miscommunicated. I think what I'm trying to say is that I think Mike has a harder route to the end than Omar does. I know he has immunity. Assuming Omar gives it back, which we still have to talk about.
But everyone now knows. But everyone did know.
Everyone did know. But I think with Drea's comment, that's adding another target on his back. People were already talking. Even Omar and Lindsay were debating the idea.
But Drea's comment was bad for Mike and bad for Omar.
How about this as an obstacle for Omar? Next episode, Jonathan wins immunity.
Okay.
Marianne gets spooked. Marianne gets spooked. She plays her idol. Lindsay gets spooked. She plays her idol. Mike gets spooked. He plays his idol. Now, who's on the chopping block? Omar and Romeo.
Yeah, I guess.
That's a way that this could go. Are all three of them
going to play their idols like
it's
that?
It's happened before.
Oh, yeah, it has.
The more once the first person plays, then the second...
the game changers?
Advantage getting, yeah. That's how Sari got voted out with no votes. So that's one way that Omar will actually...
Okay, now we have to get into it then. If you're Omar right now, do you give back the idol?
You have to.
You have to.
Yeah,
you made the decision.
That's the biggest way you piss off a lot of people.
Yeah, you're right. Everybody would be mad.
You made the decision to give back the idol the second you didn't vote Mike out.
Yep.
Yeah.
You had to. Okay. Those two are together.
What if you can convince Lindsay and Romeo though?
Please let me have it.
No, we as a group should keep it.
I mean,
because then it doesn't matter,
I just think it burns
right?
more bridges. It's cooler if he. I was so excited for the possibility of him doing that because Shan voting out JD last season and keeping his extra vote would have been like an appetizer to this entree. You know what I mean? Like this, him helping hold an idol, voting the person out, and then now laying claim to the idol would have been so cool. I was like, in my head, I'm like thinking like that would be so sick. But you have to vote him out in that moment.
But Mike's also not the guy to do that too, because
I agree.
Because he's gonna hold
he's gonna hold the grudge.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know if there's a realm where, again, the perfect scenario where was that Omar could know where the idol is. I almost think you try to maybe orchestrate it this way. You try to get the idol in Romeo's hands.
I was gonna say that.
What?
You
let Drea burn. You let Drea burn the knowledge is power, and you still vote Mike out, because then my point being is that you wanted both advantages to be burnt. What'd you say?
But then you lose Drea as an ally.
You do,
and that's tough.
Why? Because you were told that first in the beginning.
Yeah, because she knows it's you.
How this is my question.
This is exactly why I think you couldn't vote Mike out once you made this move, because
exactly.
You're making a huge enemy. It's you have two choices, right? You're either voting Mike out or you're voting Drea out, and one ends with a threat gone but a new threat gained, and the other one ends with a threat gone but no new threat gained.
The third option was still viable, where you prevent the idol from being stolen by Drea and still vote Mike out. That's fine too.
No, because then Drea is now your enemy.
But you have. I think
that's a worse.
And she doesn't.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
That again, that's what we just said about that would burn Mike, and he's walking to Ponderosa with a burning passion.
Okay, so do we all agree that Omer's decision was the right one? I think it was.
I think it was a better decision.
I think it was the right decision because I do think Drea wins the game if she comes away with
how everybody was acting
Yeah.
to this episode. I totally agree with you, Kale.
This is why her
Everybody was like,
mistake
"Oh,
is so
she
bad.
auto wins."
This is why her mistake is so bad. Because
It's so bad. It's so bad.
Because the reason why it's so bad is because Omer, and it sucks because the way that we described it, it's like Lindsay was the one who realized that this was a possibility. Omer didn't even think of it, right? I mean, maybe he did, but Lindsay is the one who got the ball rolling. Why would Omer want to go along with this plan that Drea's concocted? I mean, it's basically like if he lets this happen, it's like, how can I help construct the perfect move in front of the jury for you?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just handing you the win.
Yeah, to give you power in the game like an idol, so you get the move at tribal of taking the idol, you get the idol itself later on,
and you get to keep
that you
your
could
extra
use
vote.
against me. Like, oh yes, Drea, let me help you with this whole endeavor. It doesn't make any sense. That's why it's so bad that she said something.
That's why it's a head scratcher. I totally agree with you. But again, she tried to toe the line here to what Simi had spoken about earlier. Mm-hmm. She wanted that she can hold on to the idol, not have to play it tonight. And that she could have the back-to-back idols and then move forward.
Yeah.
So
Drea was so close to gaining so much power in this game. If the do or die missed, Drea gets an idol. Done. Yep. Next episode, she has an idol. She takes Mike's idol next episode. She has 2 idols, and now she's in the final 5? 4? I mean, she uses one, so then she gets into the final 5. She uses it again, the one that she can use, and then
here's the other piece
to the final 4.
Here's the other piece.
She's one fire challenge away from winning the game if she didn't go home.
In the preview for the next episode, it looks like Marianne whispers some sweet nothing into Romeo's ear about maybe her idol. So, if anything, Drea has 2 options next week.
Yeah.
Don't make me.
It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, she might have 2 options. Yeah.
I think
that you can't miss. You can't miss that.
No, you can't.
Right? I think we're it was a juicy episode, but we're starting to beat it to death. I think we've pretty much covered the stock report, but I guess let's go through and just for a conclusion here, what's everybody's stock report on potential winners left? Are you guys both Mike now?
Yeah.
Mike now?
I mean, you always have been, but Kale.
I know. Yeah, no, I got you.
Listen, I have always agreed with the edit piece of it from the jump here, but my whole caveat has been that I don't want it to be straightforward. That's my whole thing, is that I want to be surprised. Right now, I think it's 50-50 in terms of I literally think all of the 4 other people have 0 chance. I literally think.
I think Lindsay could do something. I think something could happen.
Marianne could still do something. Sorry, I have to say it.
What does she have on her resume?
Marianne has a massive mountain to climb.
Massive.
No, it's a massive, and like we've said, we love her, and even in the preview last week, she seems to be feeling pretty down on herself that she's now been baked in this corner as a quote unquote GOAT.
For sure. Yeah.
And listen,
but she's aware of that.
She has and she's aware of it, and she has an idol where she can make a move, but it's a little too late, I think, for her sake.
I know. It's tough to parse out fan favorite edit versus winner edit. Like, I mean, even like Ty made it to the end of Ko Wrong. He was the favorite of that season, but he didn't win. You know what I mean? But like, he could have maybe won, like in a different world. No, like, I mean, I don't know. So I'm not so quick to completely X her out.
All right. So if you're not 50-50 Omar, Mike, where are you guys' heads at?
49 too.
Okay.
Wait, who's the 2 on?
Marianne.
Over Lindsay?
Yeah.
Oh, I would have given. I'd give the 2 to Lindsay. I would do 50, 45, 5 with Omar, Mike, Lindsay.
Well, here's the funniest piece of the whole thing. The individual who's stock could not have taken an absolute nosedive more. Jonathan, I mean, there's just no chance in your guys' eyes right now, right?
As soon as he loses an immunity, he's gone.
It's more than that. I just think the narrative surrounding him has just been completely worse than it was
I think I could
all early
diagnose
season.
it a little bit. I think that Jonathan has this problem where he tells us exactly what he wants to be doing. He's keenly aware of how he wants to be perceived. And then all we see is him being perceived in the opposite way. Like, he knows that he needs to not be abrasive. He knows that he wants to not take credit for things about, like, survival. And then what do we see? He's abrasive and he tries to take credit for it's like, so that is his dilemma. He's
clearly suffering from a tremendous amount of frustrations out there on the island, and it's getting to him.
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
I don't see it for Jonathan. I don't see it for Romeo.
Oh, come on, Romeo.
Maybe Marianne and Lindsay, but again, it's a massive mountain to climb, and I only see either of those two winning if Mike and Omar are both not there.
Yeah, both of them can't be there.
Yes, exactly. So that's the point I'm making, and that's where I am most sad tonight. Is that, to me, the only interesting final three is where they both are there together.
Yeah,
so
I think so.
Yeah. Well, let's close it out then with Kale. I know she's your favorite player, so I want to give you this Survivor School moment. What can we learn from Drea's game? What made her such a great player in your eyes?
I think as much as where she went wrong tonight with making this one fatal move, I also thought her brilliance was on display tonight too. I think her observation skills again, knowing, and it goes deeper than this, because every season obviously has a different cast. I'm not going to dive into the cast here, but you have to observe your cast that you're with, and if you return, you got to then observe and try to understand all the new people that you're with. So I thought that Drea did a fantastic job about reading the room. I think, you talked about it tonight, Toast, that she got in her own way, maybe in the end, is why it was her downfall in her one mistake tonight. But she was a very good observer, and I do truly think that she had good relationships. I mean, to me,
she did.
I do think I get a little bit of validation from the fact that everybody said that she was potentially the winner that was still out there on the island tonight. So I think her observation skills and really reading the room, as was pretty much, it wasn't shown as much, and I've said it all season, but I think she was pretty close to doing it to the same way Omar was, to be honest with you. So I think she maintained that skill, and that's what you need to do in Survivor. But I don't know, Toast, if you also got to your stock report or not. Sorry if we cut you off there.
No worries. I mean, the 49-49-2, right? That was, like, I guess my main point. But I also just wanted to say 2 points really quick. One is that I thought that there were two passive winners in this episode. I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but Lindsay kind of gets by with luck and now has an idol. Like, there you go. Mm-hmm. And Mike also avoids an obstacle that he did not even see coming and lives another day with an idol now. So those, are two wins passively. So maybe not winner potential, but stock going up as far as Lindsay is concerned. And then one other point I want to make, just because I know it seems weird to say 2% Marianne and then 0% Lindsay, but I feel like Lindsay versus Marianne, it's almost like Lindsay's game that is being played is too similar to more than one person that could be sitting next to her, whereas Marianne is a little bit different. So, like, almost like an analogy is like, I feel like there's gonna, if it's Marianne, Lindsay, and then a whole, anyone else, maybe it would be like, let's say like Marianne is like sushi, that you could get for dinner, and the third person is like a cheeseburger, and Lindsay is like a veggie burger, like, for me personally, I'm going to pick the cheeseburger over the veggie burger or the sushi if I'm feeling the sushi, but I feel like I wouldn't vote for the veggie burger.
I guess
if that makes sense.
I'm just having a hard time picturing, like, what is Marianne's argument to the jury? Yeah, what's her play? I don't know.
No,
I don't know what it is.
No, we're sitting in the same spot. That really it comes down to if she's able to play this idol. To be honest with you, and the plea to the jury is that she was been on the bottom.
And
she overcame that. But listen, that's only if Mike and Omar are not sitting there.
And that's assuming that she can pull a move with this idol too. Like,
for sure.
To me, where we're sitting right now, Lindsay has a better play than Marianne.
I know, but yeah, I guess Lindsay's argument would be too similar to somebody else's, in my opinion,
but
whoever that might be. I mean, Lindsay, what is Lindsay going to say compared to Mike? Like, I had a good social game?
We all agree, though, I think if Mike or Omar is there, they're winning.
Okay.
The only scenario where Marianne
Lindsay,
where Marianne or Lindsay have a shot is if Mike or Omar are not there.
Okay. So
basically, Toast, your only pitch is really Jonathan, Lindsay, Marianne.
Jonathan. Yeah. I think that I think I mentioned it earlier, or last podcast maybe, but I think Marianne wins that 3.
I think so too.
I don't know. I just haven't.
You would pick Lindsay there. You would pick Lindsay there.
I think so. I think honestly, I don't know that he has the skills to articulate it properly. But if Jonathan made it to the end, like there is a play to be made there as well. Like
I know.
The fact
I
that
get
he's
that.
The best challenge player we've ever seen, and he made it to the final. Like
I'm
that would be
to
a
say
play
that Jonathan
sure.
doesn't have a chance.
Yeah,
I don't think so either. But like, I don't know. Like, I'm
saying
don't,
against any iteration, I don't see Jonathan coming out.
I know we're talking about it like hypothetically, but like,
yeah,
Marianne, without a play with that idol, I just don't see it.
Yeah.
How are you even gonna make that bottom of the barrel argument when it's like at this point, like if you don't make a move with the idol, people are bringing you almost like a goat.
Yeah, which is what I think we're going to get.
And how is she even going to make that as a goat over a Romeo? I'd rather take a Romeo.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, she's not going to get taken there, I guess, if Romeo's the option next to her. Yeah, I agree. But she definitely has a better plea than Romeo, right? And we kind of feel that, even though...
Yeah, I guess so. But, like, I don't know. I just don't see it.
That's a similar plea to the argument that you were making.
Yeah, I think we're rambling though. So
listen,
yeah,
I need some validation before I go to bed, either to rile myself up or to give me some happiness.
Yes.
In the percentile, or I guess the question is, what percentile
top 50% maybe
of what? You don't even know the question yet.
Of Drea ranked amongst all the Survivor players?
Yes. Of all time?
Yeah, like the top 50th.
You're saying she's an average Survivor player?
She's saying above average. The 50th percentile.
She's above average.
I mean, this is just pure disrespect.
I'd love to see her play again. I'll give you that.
This is pure disrespect.
I would love to see her play again. Kale, I'll give her 52nd percentile.
There you go.
This is the most pure disrespect of all time.
To you or to her? Because I would love to see her.
She's easily top 80. Easily top 80.
Like 80th percentile?
Yes.
Of players?
Easily.
I would agree. I'll go 80th percentile. I thought you were going to say way higher than that. I thought you were going to say like 97 percentile.
Don't say
what she did was so underrated, and the edit was brutal.
You love her. She didn't get to do
Dude,
her
I
things,
don't
though.
think. That
has to be our cue,
all right,
no?
all right, guys. That's going to be it for this week. Thank you for listening in. We always appreciate it. If you're please rate and review on iTunes. If you're listening on Apple, give us a follow. If you're on YouTube, subscribe and
smash that like.
Smash that like from Kale for Drea this week. Get down in those comments. Tell us what you guys think. We love hearing from you guys. I have to say, closing it out, I'm loving the cast. And I'll see you boys next week.
See ya.
Peace.